People asking if this is what it felt like in 2008. I can tell you no, it doesn't. Because in 2008, we didn't have access to the information that we do now. We didn't have an app like this where we could talk to each other and see what was really going on. Yes, we had Facebook, but it was nothing like what it is now. Nothing at all. There's actually a lot more disinformation being shared there then, but no. I don't really know how to explain how different it was. I was still in college, so I had jobs, but like not career type jobs. I worked a lot, I worked as much as I could. I think I was renting an apartment at the time. But yeah, I mean, I worked in sales. That's what it was. I worked in jewelry sales, and it did not affect that industry at all because, truth be told, the people that have money to buy jewelry didn't affect them. They were, if you can afford to buy diamonds, you were still going to buy diamonds. It's plain and simple. But yeah, people were losing their jobs that had been at places, 20, 30, 40 years. The area that I live in, the major effects of the recession, mini depression, whatever you want to call it, it took about 2 years for it to hit here. So keep in mind, I graduated college in 2010. And I was like, really looking.
She wasn't even off the porch, bro. She wasn't even off the porch. Mini depression, mini recession. Let me tell you something, bro. 42 years old today. It's funny because 2008, I had been out of high school for 8 years. It's funny because I had my daughter. My daughter was born February in 2008, which means I was a brand new father. I had been married for 4 years, or it was about to be 4 years, and life was absolutely in shambles for everybody. Look, this little stuff that they going through with the federal government and that federal workers, and they can sue and possibly get their job backs and all of that. Listen, this is games. This is all games. Y'all getting severance packages and all this stuff, and you got more jobs and you got more tools. You can go and search for new jobs. You can hustle. You got a Uber Eats and DoorDash to bridge you and all of this stuff. We have resources. This is nothing. This ain't even, we're not even in a recession. We're not even in a depression. We're just in a space where a lot of people made a lot of bad decisions on their affordability of what they think that they can buy, and it's going bad. 2007, 2008, and I'm in Detroit, meaning that we were probably the hardest hit in the entire nation. The entire nation. There was no city that was impacted more than Detroit in the auto industry. Whereas today, you actually have the steel industry, the auto industry, and all of those different places. They are actually shoring up because the tariffs is preventing other countries from flooding the United States of America with cheap products. And so now we have the aluminum industry, we got the steel industry being protected, and it's not being decimated. American cars, people are being incentivized to actually build inside of America, more factories, more investments. There was nothing. There was no money. There was no interest rates. There was no way that you could get a loan. People were actually offing themselves. People were offing themselves in 2008. I remember, and I tell this story on the Millionaire Morning Show a lot of times, I remember that people were fighting over the flower guy suit. The guy that be standing on the side of the road holding a sign and stuff like that. And it was for a flower shop. And people were fighting for applications for the flower guy suit. It was no money, no jobs, no nothing. It was just hustle, survival, do what you got to do. I seen a lot of innovation back then too, because people started to focus on going back to school, getting their own businesses and all of that stuff. It was bad. It was bad. You know how many foreclosures was in 2008? The foreclosure housing crisis absolutely destroyed everything. Housing prices were slashed probably by 60, 70, 80%, depending on where you was inside of the country. Listen, you can't imagine how bad it was in 2008. It was bad. I personally got all of my cars repossessed. I got 3 cars repossessed. As I was working at the steel mill or whatever, so on and so forth. I got 3 cars repossessed, moved back into my mother's basement, lost my job, had 0 income. And I just had to figure it out. I took a sales job and then I wound up getting a call center job, and I was working two jobs at the same time while going back to school full time to be a software engineer. And so, it was a much, much different time. So when I see people like her telling you that 2008 is similar to what is happening now, I know that they don't know what the hell they talking about. They just talking. They're just talking. They have no clue. You don't know what suffering is. It was the best and the worst thing that happened to me personally because it showed me that I was at rock bottom and I had nowhere to go but up. So what I wasn't afraid to fail anymore because it was just like, listen, I'm already here. I didn't already got my cars took. I took whatever little money that I had because I didn't want to tap into my investments, and I took whatever cash that I had and I bought a car cash. I went to the auction. I bought a car cash. It was decimated. I was hustling. And then when I bought that car cash, I was like, you know what? I can buy and sell cars. So then I was flipping cars. And man, listen, bro. Listen. These cupcakes and these little weak people today, I people were offing themselves. They lost everything. They was cashing out their 401ks at the cheapest price, paying astronomical fees. But it was a buying opportunity for the people that actually understood how the game worked. It was, and I vowed back then. I vowed then that I would never miss another opportunity of a market correction ever again. It was a lot of people got really rich back then.
Forward to being an adult, having a real job. Um, yeah, the bottom fell out. I sent out so many applications to so many places, and I actually had a good resume. I'd worked at big companies. I had a very strong financial background of my career, of the jobs that I had, and I probably applied 50, 60 different places. I didn't even get no's. I just didn't get responses at all because these companies had just laid off people that had been working there for decades to minimize the hit that they were taking. So why were they going to hire me fresh out of college, even though I had a good resume? They weren't hiring for those positions at all. And I don't think that a lot of those places of employment and those particular jobs ever recovered from that. They still had one person doing probably the job of 2 to 3 people. And that continues today. And they wonder why people are burnt out. But with all that being said, it does feel a lot the same. But like I said, we have access to so much more information now. Real information, not what the media tells us. Real information, firsthand knowledge information. We didn't have that back then. So at least now, you're not surprised. As
2008 was a completely different animal than what you're experiencing today. I think that a lot of people are really they're confused. There's a misunderstanding of exactly what suffering is. Suffering is not having or being able to pull your money together as a family. I'm not just talking about my immediate family. I'm talking about my father, mother, brother, whatever. We was all living together, getting shut off notices because you know what I'm saying. One person that didn't have it that month had started falling behind and all of that. So when I see people that sit here and tell me that, when I see people that sit here and tell me that 2008 was rough, I know that they don't know anything about what they're talking about. It was it was disastrous. Thinking about it give me PTSD. You know what I'm saying? So it was a bad time, but it was also a really good time because now I realize that people that were born and didn't really experience it, a lot of y'all may have been kids, so your parents probably protected you from it and all of that stuff. It's not the same, bro. I'm telling you that it's not the same. I'm telling you that you guys really don't understand. If you think you're going through it, I see people crying on the internet, and then people be like, Anton, why aren't you compassionate towards these people? These people they're getting laid off. Man, people been getting laid off since the 40s. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even have unemployment protection. I've probably gotten laid off several different times in my lifetime before I started to get a real career and I actually went into a STEM field. So, it's hard for me to feel sorry for somebody when I understand that that's a part of life. It's a learning experience. It's an opportunity for you to grow and evolve and to be in something much greater than what you are. And we got to put our big boy and our big girl pants on and understand that it's an opportunity. And, we're not supposed to be subsidizing jobs with the federal government instead of the private sector. So I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm just telling you that 2008 was rough. It was really, really rough. It was rough for me. I know that for other people, it was super rough. And if you had a job, you didn't move. You wasn't trying to get a promotion. You wasn't trying to, level up or nothing. You was just trying to hold on and do your job for what you got. It wasn't no working from home. People was going into work. They was doing what they had to do in order to survive. So when I see people on this cupcake type shit that they on today, it disappoints me. But I'm glad that it made me stronger and it prepared me for what it is that's happening today. Let me know what y'all think about this. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.